I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know.
Guys, welcome back to the Under Pressure podcast. I'm really excited about this episode because I got my man Scott, and I've had an opportunity to watch him for a while now on social media, and that's one of those social media relationships where you're like, man, that person's cool as fuck, and I would love to hang out with them one day. And I just, this is a perfect culmination of that, and I'm excited to have you on, man. So Scott, welcome to the show, dude.
I appreciate that, bro. That's some kind words. I definitely have seen a lot of your shit too, and it's been cool to watch. You do a good job, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what's awesome is that I think it's cool to see that you are, like, what you're doing with your brands, right? Uphill Battle, and I think, Chunky Fit Cookie, that's awesome. But I think what really drew me to you is that you're a creator first. And I had to scroll down a little bit on your IG and see a lot of the photography stuff, and I was like, that is so dope, and I resonate with that a lot, right? And so I think that's one thing that, like I said, that really drew me to you. And if you can just give someone, I know this is how normal podcasts start out, but like if you can give someone the Spark Notes version of like who you are, what you do, that kind of thing would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to start it off is I was super corporate. So I actually sold private jets way back in the day when I first got out of college. Went through that for 2 years, realized corporate wasn't for me, picked up a camera on the side, had some buddies who were like kind of CrossFit-y, hybrid-y type trainers, like, just in Austin. And I picked up a camera, filmed them doing an outdoor workout, and I had a couple DMs saying, how much do you charge? And it kind of snowballed from there. Is a very common story. You charge $100 for the first video, and somebody says yes, and you charge 200, 300, 400, and so forth. So I did that for about a year, and then my fiance now, she was sponsored by Revive MD.
That's cool.
Down in Florida.
Yeah.
And then as they started to start up Raw, she got into Raw, and they watched my content, and the owner, Dom, he basically said, I'm looking for somebody full-time. I have a contract agency that I work with, and I want to bring somebody in-house to build that creative team internally. And he said, I'd love you to try it, but you'd have to move here. And fast forward, I ended up moving, as many people probably know if they've followed me for a little bit. But I moved to Florida to help build up Raw Nutrition with C-Bum and those guys, and then Revive MD as well for 2 years. After 2 years, kind of got that itch again. I felt like I was in a job versus building my own thing, similar to what it was like in my corporate job. So I'd been friends with Jason, who started Uphill in 2019, I believe, and said, hey, dude, I'm gonna get back to Austin. That's the plan. I kind of don't know what I want to do. I just know I want to own something. And he was like, hey, let's partner up and let's see what we can do. And then the Chunky Fit kind of came into play after that. So started as a photographer, videographer, freelancer, like many people do. Got into a company, which I definitely recommend people do, and then kind of learn from there.
That's cool, man, and that's really awesome. Again, I resonate with that story a lot because I started off as a trainer and in the gyms, right? And then, from there it was like seeing other people with cameras, seeing other people come in and shoot video, and I was like, that's sick. I've always loved having a camera. I always had a camera in my hand for YouTube or whatever it was. And so, yeah, it just kind of snowballed and caught on from there, which is super cool to see how that kind of like ties in full circle. But I do want to start off with this, right? And I think this is really important because I feel like so many people, including me, get in their head about this. Do you think people should start off with building up a personal brand and then building a business after that? Or do you think they should start off trying to build a business and then letting social be kind of a byproduct of that?
That's a funny debate, I think. I see going on social media right now in particular. Like, a lot of people say build the personal brand, which I just think a personal brand anymore is like, it's kind of becoming the word influencer. You know what I mean? Yep. It's kind of becoming a cliche, but it's just who you are. A lot of people are saying build that first and then build a brand after the fact. I don't necessarily think it matters that much because a lot of people don't even know I own Chunky Fit and they don't even know anything about it. And Chunky Fit is actually growing faster than Uphill right now, at least in the trajectory of things, because we have retail option.
Of course.
Uphill's all e-com and it's like a drop model versus Chunky Fit we can sell in stores. Yeah. So I don't think it matters as much. It depends on what you want to do, and it depends on the business you're starting. I would say if you're in something like fashion and clothes, for sure, you got to show out. You got to do your thing in the personal brand side of things. But if you're doing a physical product like, whether it's cookies or like the guys over at Ghost doing energy drinks and that kind of stuff, it depends if the product is awesome. But even look at, like, referencing Ghost, for example, those guys, Dan Larenko and them, started off with the Building the Brand series on YouTube and brought people along. So their personal brand was kind of just already built into the DNA of who Ghost is, and you can see that from the style of who they are as a brand. And now they've pulled back and don't do that as much. So I think you can go both ways with it. I think it's more fun to do with the personal brand side of things first anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned, Dan and Ryan, right? Like, they didn't really have I guess Ryan a little bit of social media, but Dan,
Sure.
doesn't really post anything up until like they started that brand from scratch. And that's just something I get in my head about too. Is right, like, do I need to wait till I have a big following, or do I need to wait till I build these socials up to start a brand? And I think a lot of people probably get in their heads, because I've had people tell me that, like, hey, wait till it's bigger, and then you can almost just like use that as a funnel to bring people in. But take advantage and doing things and getting out of your comfort zone is so important, and I think that's really important for people to know. So as far as people feeling like they need to be in a rush all the time, right? I feel like 20 to 30 is kind of that space where people are like trying to figure it out, trying to figure their life out. Where do you think I should be? So like, what do you think about people feeling like they need to be in a rush at this moment in time right now?
I mean, I'm 31 going on 32, and I still feel like I got to figure shit out. So I would say don't even worry about it that much. The thing I would say, I don't like using the word regret here, but the thing I wish I did sooner was try more stuff and test more things. So, just try everything. I started a coffee business 5 years ago. It was like just a whole bean coffee business. Just tried to see what happens, so I could learn Shopify, so I could learn, how to design a label. What are the FDA regulations of labels and that kind of stuff? And could I take the photography side of things and put it into design, a little bit too, on a physical product? And I got it to work, and I did it, and I invested some money, and it didn't work out because that's coincidentally when I got the offer for Ron Revive. But you just got to try everything. I wouldn't say you have to rush it, but you shouldn't just sit idly by, for sure.
Of course.
I'm a big proponent of move fast and break shit. I don't know if you ever heard that phrase before, but you just do everything you can, figure it out, fail a couple times. And fail, I use that term lightly because you're not really failing, you're just learning. You just rephrase what you're thinking about. But definitely no wait, because I could have started this when I thought of this kind of stuff when I thought about it back in college when I was 22, and I didn't because I was too concerned about what my homies were going to think of me. And I know that sounds like pretty typical, but truly, it's those guys went on to be really good engineers and software guys and work in corporate jobs, and they love what they do, but it just didn't feel right to me. So at the time, I wish I would have started earlier, for sure.
Yeah, I think most of us operate from a place like that, right? Of just like, we're thinking always of what are other people are going to think of us? What are other people going to, like the way that they're going to perceive us and the things that we're doing. And I think 20 to 30 is that perfect time, right? Where you just, like you said, figure shit out. Just really go try everything, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like, and you don't need to be in a rush to be at a specific place at a specific time. I think that's, one of the cool things about social media too. It's showing that, there's so many different options, there's so many different avenues and different things that you can do nowadays where you don't have to sit at a corporate job that you're not happy at, right? Sit at a desk job or do whatever it is. There's, again, so many different options, which is awesome. So
I remember, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I remember starting out, when I was getting into photography and learning. I'm sure everybody knows Peter McKinnon in this world. And I remember thinking, dude, I could do that. That guy's like, he's just a normal dude having a good time, taking photos, doing shit. He's a great photographer, but I thought you could learn the skill. And eventually, if I didn't try that, I wouldn't have learned that photography and putting things in a gallery and selling prints and presets and all that kind of stuff wasn't for me. I like creative for the sake of what you can do with the brand side of things more than anything. I don't like it as much at the fact where I want to be like, I don't know if you know Peter Lick, but he's a super famous photographer.
I think so.
Yeah, he's in art galleries, and he's selling prints for like $5,000, but they're super amazing, like perfect time of the year kind of thing. Yeah, that's just not what I'm interested in. It's beautiful, it's awesome, and I would love to take that photo, but it doesn't drive kind of what is in my DNA.
Yeah, I think it's cool that you mentioned Peter McKinnon, because I feel like so many people get in their heads about putting these people on a pedestal, right? Like, these are a different breed of human. Like, I cannot achieve that. There's no possible way. But if you take a step back and realize, like, these are just normal ass people. They just decided to pick up a camera. They just decided to take that step and do something different. And that's something I've done for so many years, right? I've put off YouTube. I've put off making videos because, again, I was so worried, or I didn't think it was achievable, or whatever it is. But you just have to start, take one step at a time, fuck up, mess things up, break shit. It's all of that, right? And that you do that over a long period of time, and it just compounds into whatever it is, right? It's the same thing with like Uphill. It's starting slow, and now it's cool to see like where it's going. So you hopped in as a business partner for Uphill, correct?
Yes. Yeah. About a little over a year and a half ago now.
How far along was Uphill when you jumped in?
Jay started in 2019. Okay. So, and Jay started it with like, that dude, he took a risk. He took out a loan, like a credit card, and took a whack.
That's
and
fun.
it ended up working out slowly. He's from El
Yeah.
Paso, so there's a lot of El Paso roots in the brand, a lot of South Texas vibes.
That's cool.
And he's really plugged in the community. So a lot of what drove that in the beginning was community for sure. And
Yeah.
then we just inserted the community I was building with my circle of internet, homies.
Yeah.
And it just kind of started snowballing, and then the design started getting better, and it's been cool to watch.
Yeah. What's the vision for like the brand and kind of the meaning behind it?
Oh, uphill?
Yeah.
I would say the vision behind the brand is to, you got a lot of we've been compared to a lot of people because we're gym guys, right? Jason in particular is a huge gym bro, and he's training really, he's a personal trainer. He has online stuff too, and people look at us kind of like a dark sport or a civil regime, a gym streetwear brand, but more so than anything, Jay and I just had a meeting about this. Really, we were chatting about, we don't want to be seen as that as more as we want to be seen as like that more high-end streetwear, but we're just using the roots that we have started with to kind of get the mission of the brand out there. And the brand itself and the mission has always been the same since Jason started. It was like, you got to come up from something, whether you're coming up from some challenges. Jason had a hard, I don't want to speak for him necessarily, but I know he had a tough time going through life, and he overcame a lot of things and obstacles. And myself, I didn't have much, I wouldn't say like challenges. I came up in pretty middle class, but at the same time, I was fed the typical go to work, go to school, go to work, get a job, get married, have family, settle down. And it's, for those who are in that, it's definitely hard to get out of that too. It's just a different type of thing you're trying to overcome. So really, that's what Uphill's all about, is just overcoming and being the best person that you can possibly be and what you can find for yourself, but going for it at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many things in that brand do you like have your hands in? Like, are you doing the media? Are you doing the back end? Like, how much of that is on you?
It's just me and Jay, man. So it's everything.
That's crazy.
It's just the two of us texting every single day. What about this design? What about this inspo? And I'm like, hey Jay, I'm gonna try these ad campaigns. So I'm doing. We definitely are getting better right now at like splitting work roles.
Yeah.
Jay lets me do creative a lot, but Jay does
awesome.
a lot of design because I trust Jay a lot in his ability to understand culture. He's very plugged in, and there's a lot of, if you really pay attention, a lot of sports culture in the roots of what Uphill style is.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that, I kind of let him lead the way and kind of let him roll with it. He'll hit me up with ideas, and we'll kind of spitball back and forth, and we might butt heads on a couple things here and there too, of course, as you would imagine. But we're doing a good job of delegating our abilities and leveraging what we're good at. But for me particularly, it's just everything, man. Website, Shopify, ads, content, videos, any marketing, emails. Yeah.
And another business on the side.
Yeah, and helping my fiance with hers.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. And this is where it's the most fun. I mean, the brand, as the brand gets bigger, the problems are going to get bigger too. So it's just like, if you can take in now everything that's going, just you and your boy hanging out, trying dope shit, having fun, and just like really trying to build this out. Because again, like, I hear it from everybody that builds something big, right? It's like we miss the smaller times. We miss when we started. We miss when we were doing, I think Dan and Ryan talk about like starting on Snapchat, right? Like stuff like that is super cool. And that's something that, I don't know if you know Alex Toppin, but I work with one of the top Alpha athletes. And so he's starting a board short company right now. And I'm telling him, like, I know you're stressed out. Like, I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate, but it's about to get 10x. So like, I need you to just like enjoy these moments right now, because it's about to get really crazy. So I think it's super important to just stay level-headed and really enjoy the process and really enjoy the journey of everything that's going on, because it's always going to be stressful. It's just at different levels, right?
Yeah, we do something that we call the Garage Chronicles right now, because all of the studio content being done is in my garage at my house.
That's awesome.
And our warehouse is my garage. So if anybody goes on the website and you see Jay or any of the models we used at the time, it's in a garage. It's been content aware filled out, so you can't see the top or the bottom, right? It's on the white papered backdrop, and to the left and the right of us is just a mess. So those are the fun times that you get to see, and that's what I'm trying to document a lot of that shit too, to make sure that not only do people see it, but we get to remember it.
Exactly, and go back and look and see the beginning stages, and that'll be cool to show the brand and the team later on, right?
For sure, 100%.
What originally made you pick up a camera?
The story is actually kind of funny. So long, I had to think about this a while back, but a long time ago, I was a skateboard kid. I don't know if you were, but me and my cousin, my cousin was a rock star. He was awesome. He would actually compete. I would just ride along. I picked up like a VHS cam, and we were doing, your
Let's
typical
go.
Bam Margera type of shit, you know, filming this hood stuff in a small town. So that was fun. I did that for a little bit, and we made a YouTube video, and I wish I could find it. I lost it. It's nowhere to be found anymore.
I hate
but,
that.
I since then, I was probably 13, you know, whatever. But my fiance, Savannah, she was into makeup, and like she was a makeup artist, and she wanted to do a makeup tutorial, makeup artist type YouTube channel. So for Christmas at the time I was in corporate, I bought her a camera, and she tried to make a video, and she said she hated the editing and she hated the process of trying to figure it out, and it was hilarious. But then it collected dust, and not until I met a kid his name is CJ, one of my really good buddies. He's the one who helped me understand how to get out of corporate and open my mind a little bit more to what everything is today.
Yeah.
He's the one I went and filmed, and he goes, "Hey, take this camera, let's go film a workout and just see what happens." And that opened the door, and it evolved.
Wild. The gym. It's always the gym.
It's always the gym, bro.
Everyone starts filming.
That's how I met my partner in Chunky Fit, Angel. Met him at the gym.
That's cool. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Where did the idea and concept come from, and how's that going right now?
The idea came from Angel. He's a G. Angel's from the military. He's a first responder. He's a veteran. He's awesome, dude. He's a great person. Jay and Angel are both impeccable human beings, to be honest, to their core. They're so awesome. But I was training at a local gym with Jason, and he introduced me to Angel, and Angel and I just got chopping it up, and we just vibed right away. And he started, I want to say he also started back in 2019, 2018-ish, but he was obsessed with protein, and he tried like a boba shop and a bunch of other random shit. You know, he was just hustling like, everybody is. And he learned how to bake this like perfect cookie at the time from the library. And all the recipe came from the library that we have today. So he started that. He's been hustling. He's doing the little trade shows and things like that. And we met in the gym, talked a little bit, and I said, dude, listen, I have some time. I'm working with Jason, and I really want to be, like, my long-term goal is to not own one business, is to own as many as I can.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in, like, venture capital and, like, really getting into understanding entrepreneurship from a very high level.
That's awesome.
That's just, I have a really high aspiration for myself for that, and sometimes it definitely is stressful in that component. But I thought, let's just add another one. Let's see what happens. And so Angel and I talked, and he agreed, and it worked out well, and that's been a blast, man. I've been pushing him a lot. I've taken a lot of what I've learned from Raw and Revive, since it's a physical good product, like a food versus a clothing item.
Very different. Similar, but different.
Yeah, for sure. Into that, I've learned a lot about shelf life and understanding how to keep food safe.
Yeah.
But it's been really interesting because Uphill's very e-commerce, very social media. While Chunky Fit is that way, there's a huge component of wholesale in there that brought me back to my original corporate sales job where I was selling stuff, and it just kind of reignited this hustle in me. So it's been cool, man. It's been growing a lot. We just, as of this week, we have a group of nutrition stores called Nutrition Corners up in Virginia. If anybody's out there, go check them out. They're going to be in every single store, 13. That'll add 40 total locations retail, U.S. based. So we're in there. We're at a few GNCs. We're in local Austin gyms, Minneapolis, California. It's just growing. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congrats. That's super cool.
A lot of work.
Yeah, 100%. But it's cool to know that, you applied the things that you learned when you were actually at 9 to 5, when you're actually doing, your behind the desk job stuff to like where you are now, right? You can take so many of those lessons and apply them. And I think so many people they kind of clock out, right? They like think that they don't have to do a good job or just do like the bare minimum when they're at their 9 to 5 or at their job. But I think those lessons go like far deep beyond that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Do it 100%. You're going to take those lessons. You're going to be able to apply them for the rest of your life, right? Getting there early, being the last one to leave, doing 110%, just a little bit extra. It's going to 10x your just everything about you. And it's really important. And going back to like Chunky Fit Cookie, I'm at a place right now where I'm pretty much only working out so I can eat more pizza. I couldn't imagine being surrounded by cookies all day long. So I don't know how you do that, man.
I run now, and I got to increase the calories just for that.
Yeah, you gotta space it out.
Yeah.
Are you at a place where you just like
we eat them all the time?
Do you? Yeah.
we definitely eat them a lot. We'll eat them when we're doing like our photo shoots for the website, and then we'll have them when we're testing our official bake production in the kitchen. But to be honest, we don't really eat that many, not anymore, not as much. It's just because we know what it tastes like. We already understand. If we need a snack, we'll get it. But we're also trying to watch our figure. You know what I mean?
100%. How's the running going? That's new.
It's been good, man. That's new for sure. Yeah, it was. I felt like Calvin, Tom.
Yeah. Okay,
so if people don't know Calvin, Seabum's videographer, photographer. Calvin once told me a phrase that he looks like a bag of milk, and so I don't know if you know Calvin at all personally, but that's like who he is. It's hilarious, and I attest my running to feeling like a bag of milk.
I see.
I'm a big dude, so I feel clunky and just heavy and stuff. But I've gotten much better at it. It's been cool. Yeah. It's been a fun modality to add into the training.
100%, and I think it's so like it does really get fun, and it's a really good. Not only for the physical, but just for the mental, to get out, to just like separate yourself. And like anytime I'm stressful, I go for a run, dude. And I've been lifting for years and years and years. So again, like changing the modality and just doing something different and being, just adaptable and moving in different planes of motion, right? That's so important. I try to like preach that to people. But yeah, man, it's really therapy at this point. Like get out, even if it's not music, if I'm just listening to nature, like whatever it is. So dude, I know everybody's outside on their run grind right now, but
yeah, for sure. It's a little trendy, but I mean it helps people get into it and learn that they like it, which is cool. But it's getting outside has been awesome. So
that's cool. What are you at in terms of like miles and stuff? Are you going for distance or just time or?
I am very interested in doing a high rocks. I don't know if you know what that is.
Nah.
Look it up when we're done with this. But it's basically CrossFit with running. So it's 8 stations. You do a kilometer between every station. So you do 8 kilometers, and then a station might be like wall balls or sled push and pull ski ergs, burpee broad jumps, that kind of stuff. It's very high intensity. I filmed my buddy who actually helped me open my eyes to outside of the corporate world. He loves high rocks, and so I filmed 3 of them for him for his YouTube videos, and it just opened up a door, and I was like, holy shit, this is cool. These are athletic people, and as I get older, I want to feel like that.
Yeah, a different breed of athletes. You hear the athlete term loosely thrown around with influencers now too, so it's cool to see what an actual athlete can do, right? And that's very similar to a Spartan race, but it sounds more intense with like the CrossFit stuff.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, they're all kind of fun. Yeah, they're all kind of different in their own right. You know what I mean? But to actually answer your question, I do 3 miles at least 3 times a week. Nice. I felt I wanted to get close to less than 9 minutes 30 seconds on average, and then I wanted to push to 4. So I just did my 4 mile, and some people might think it's slow or whatever. It's all relative.
Yeah, exactly.
But the 4 miler, that was brutal.
Yeah.
From 3 to 4, I felt like I was gonna die.
Bro, it's like night and day.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I got 3, I'm good. But after up to 4, that was a rough mile.
Oh yeah, and I've been running out here, so now I'm in Florida. I'm in Tampa, and it's
humid
cooking.
Out there.
Yeah, bro, it's cooking out here. So I've been running at like peak hours, like 3 p.m., just because I like to get a tan and I like to sweat. Sure. Yeah. And I didn't understand how much it would affect my endurance. Like I went from doing like. When I was in Houston, I would do, 5, 6, 7 miles, but now I'm doing like 3 to 4, and I'm like, yo, this is hot.
You're breathing in a hair dryer.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. And like when I was running in Houston, it wasn't the peak hot time, so yeah, it was just like very different. So I need to start running a little bit earlier when it's not as cooking.
I'm actually going after this when the sun's going down. It's easier to do it after hours.
Yep, perfect time. You have a family too, or just fiance?
Just fiance, just the 2 of us.
No kids yet.
No.
Don't want to throw that into the mix yet.
Not quite. We're a little busy, with between all of that and her fitness stuff and the app and stuff. They're a little busy.
Yeah. So I know probably over the years you've had some accounts of being super stressed and just a lot of things on the plate. Reflecting back, are there any moments in time where you just thought like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go through this. I don't know if this is the right fit. Like, are there any times like that you can recall?
It's funny you say that. It's more often than you realize. I feel like. I don't know. I mean, I know you're kind of creative is like you're trying to make a little brand, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal is to make creative a brand. So with that plus the content you're doing, I'm sure there's moments that you feel off and you're like, man, this is so much. Like, what am I doing?
Once a week.
It's for real, right? It's more often than I'd like. But I learned something from Dom at Raw and Revive, and I asked him how he dealt with stress because I thought, if I can't handle this, how does someone like this, or Matt Jansen, those guys who lead those companies and as they get bigger, or Andy Frisella, how do they handle this? And his response was pretty interesting. I thought, and that stayed with me for a long time, is that you just get, your stress tolerance just gets better. You just get a little bit better every time. Just like your training, basically. You know, you can bench 135, 185, 205, 225. And the same goes for stress. And I don't think I don't want people to misconstrue that and think that it's okay to have stress compound. But you start to understand what's important and what's not important to get stressed about and what to let go. So the more it happens, the more you start to if you can take a moment, realize you're in the stress, and understand how you want to get out of it, you get better at getting yourself out of it while still moving through the weeds and the tough shit as methodically as you can.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. My dad, very, very smart guy, and he would always tell me that our brain registers anxiety and excitement the same way. So it's about how you perceive it, right? And I think it's, you know, the same thing as like stress, right? Yeah, everybody's under stress. Everybody. And it's, you know, it's how you look at it and how you view it. And I notice with myself too, I can sit there and be like, holy shit, I have so much on my plate. Like, I just can't function right now. I know what I'm going to do. I need sleep. Like, and as soon as I switch the viewpoint, right? As soon as I view it from a different frame of like, hey, this is great. Like, I'm in a great spot right now. Like, things are great. I have like my family's all okay. My health is good. Like, things are fantastic. Yeah, I'm working hard, but like, I'm 26, right? Like, this is the time to bust my ass, if any. I'm trying to figure shit out. I'm just throwing darts at a wall and seeing if, you know, stuff will work. So it's very important to view things and shift your perspective and try to keep that frame positive as much as you can. And I know it's hard, and I know it gets to people, but, you know, keeping a good mindset is so valuable and so important.
Yeah, 100%. I have this little calendar. It's called "You Are a Badass" calendar. I don't know if you've heard of that, but my mom gets it for me every single year. It's a little yellow calendar, and it's like a tear. It's no bigger than like a square, and it's just a tear away every day. And it's kind of a motivational quote or something.
That's cool.
And a lot of them are about stress, and basically, you know, what you think about is what you become. Yep. So continue to think about the negative. Continue to think about all the bad things that could happen and that kind of stuff. You'll start to create that in your life.
Bro,
and if you can kind of reframe, like you're saying, you know, and like your dad says, if you can reframe your viewpoint, you can actually change a lot.
Yeah, it's 1,000%, and I witnessed it firsthand because I was at a point a couple of years ago where I'd never dealt with anxiety, I'd never dealt with like depression or whatever it is because I just didn't believe in it. I was like, you know, I never dealt with it, so I started to feel like that randomly, and I was like, what is going on? The world is falling apart. This is wild, and like it took me to, like, down a very deep path, and ultimately, you know, talking with my dad and trying to figure out what it was stemming from and all that. Again, it's just framework. It's just how you view it and how you look at it. And instead of saying like, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm anxious or whatever it is, like, I'm excited, I'm ready, I'm happy. I'm like, every single day. It's like you hear people talk about it, like, go in the mirror and affirm yourself, tell yourself you're beautiful, like all these things, right? But it matters. It matters so much. And so, again, just something for people to think about. Just, you know, really, really stay positive and affirm, stand in the mirror and fucking tell yourself if you need to.
If you have to. Yeah, if you have to sit in the car and pull your visor down and look in that little mirror, you know, or film yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
We all kind of do that, oddly.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I don't want this to drag on too long. I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I think people are going to get a lot out of this, you know, episode. And if I don't know if you want to leave anything with them, you can tell them, you know, where to find the brands and all that good stuff. I know I'm going to go order some cookies after this, so you guys might want to go do that too. But
yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It's been fun. This is really cool. I mean, if you want to follow me, that's cool. If you get anything from my content, I love having conversations with people, to be honest. So if you see a video and it resonates with you, don't be afraid to DM. And if you like the merch at all from Uphill, if you like the designs, the style, we would appreciate it. And if you want a protein cookie, then Chunky Fit's the way to go. So
heck yeah, awesome.
This has been cool, man. I appreciate it for sure.
Appreciate you guys for hanging out on the Under Pressure podcast, and I will see you in the next one.